This is the Man in a Room podcast.
This is Man in a Room. It is a podcast, You're listening to Man in a Room.
How's it going? I'm back again, like a renegade master. I'll kick your ass then give you a plaster. I don't know if that's the words, but I think I might have even done that as an introduction before, but it doesn't matter because that one was a much better rendition, so up yours. Anyway, so today, I haven't really got anything planned. I'm actually going in, just going to go for it like the old days. I've got a few things I want to talk about, and they may come up, they may not. You know, that's why we're going to do it today. I've been busy beavering away on the website. That's been a lot of fun. It hasn't been fun, actually, because my knowledge from years ago on how to actually make a website is significantly out of date. But it's fine. I'll get through it. But it will get done. At the minute, it's getting there. There's something there, but it'll be getting better. And I'm really enjoying doing all that stuff. Anyway. So, the reason what prompted me to just record this episode right now is because I just had to do this thing on Facebook, because it's just really funny. So, a couple of days ago, my sister-in-law posted this meme in the family group that we have on there. It's basically, there are 39 Beatles songs in this picture. Name only one so everyone can try to guess. Right? It's a lot of fun. Me and my brother were playing it, and I would sound quite knowledgeable on the Beatles, but at the same time, I can't quite see the references in this. Like, I can see a couple of Russian dudes there. Is that enough of a reference to back in the USSR? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, it's a lot of fun, but we sort of ran out of answers. Then I noticed, 5 hours ago, the Beatles' official Facebook page, Paul, John, Ringo and George, they were sitting in an office and they were like, this COVID's a bit rubbish. Maybe we should post this meme we found online. And then Ringo's all like, why not? And they did. And it's got 9.7 thousand comments. So I want to just go through the answers. Because something that is important when it comes to Beatle fans is that not everyone is a Beatle fan. If you're a fan of the Beatles, that's completely different. You're allowed to be a fan of the Beatles, and it's perfectly fine. A Beatles fan, though, they're a bit weird. As they have this tendency to overshare things, such as on this picture, there's a picture of the Queen. So the Queen is referenced in the song Her Majesty on Abbey Road. That's it. Her Majesty, 27th song and the last track on the Abbey Road album, ! Fair enough. Octopus's Garden, one of my favourites. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, The Princess on the Tower. That's the Queen from earlier. Nope, you're wrong. Yeah, but it could be Lucy. Well, we've still got some more here. I Am the Walrus. It's obvious, but it's one of my favourites. I didn't need to know that. Guy here. All of them. This morning I let myself have a fast food breakfast at a Canadian monolith chain, and they had a radio on it, and it was playing the Beatles, so it's going to be a good day for me. Brackets, a nice way to start the day. What else we got here? There's people just. I was just reading this. Like, what is going on here? I saw screaming at my daughter through a megaphone straight away! ! Such a classic. True, along with guy drowning in the middle of a lake and no one helps him. My favourite song. And then that all sort of kicked off. I also see hobo waking, bottom right. And then someone starts bringing politics into it, which they've deleted their comments because I can see Wow, you went from 0 to Karen in 3 seconds flat there, friend. Why so easily offended? Trump supporter. And it just goes on. And the only reason why I bring this up is because also recently on Facebook, and I'll be honest, the Facebook is the only social network I actually am currently using. Not for any specific reasons, because that's where my family tend to frequent. Anyway, so Ringo Starr did this thing. It was his birthday. It was his 85th birthday, so he's old, you know. And it's all like, is Ringo Starr 80? I'm sure he's 80. Okay, Google, how old is Ringo Starr? See, I'm sure.
Ringo Starr is 80 years old.
80. Okay, he's only 80. Panic over. So, you know, it's interesting that his fans were from when he was like in his 20s, because the Beatles were around in like the 60s, and so it's like all these sort of, it's got a whole cross section of history going with it. And then because apparently his birthday thing was supposed to help raise funds towards the Black Lives Matter campaign, and people were just going nuts at him, and it was like, what? It's crazy. But it's very strange. So I always notice there's always one that says, and I don't know if anyone's ever noticed it, if anyone's a Beatles fan who listens, because I've heard there are people that listen to this. And there's always one that says hello from Brazil. I don't know why. It's always like can you spot the hello from Brazil? In fact, I'm going to scroll through and see if I can find the hello from Brazil, because that's always a fun pastime. Since I've been talking, another 200 people have guessed. But yeah. So since I'm actually scrolling down here, there's 3 comments. That hasn't loaded. Good answer here. The Beatles medley, Stars and 45 new version, which is quite funny. Yeah. Oh, someone here's got a bit of an existential one. Often wondered, so he's thought about this a lot. Often wondered if the sun at the back is Good Day Sunshine or Here Comes the Sun, or Sun King. Yeah. Mother Nature's son. I could go on, but yeah. Anyway, I got reminded about the Beatles earlier. I was gonna have a quick swig of tea. Hold on, it's breaking the format of me having a cup of tea that's ready to be drank in the first half, but I'm going to drink it before the first half is over, because there are halves, in case you didn't know. Sorry, that was very loud. I do apologise. But the time when he was like, when Ringo's all like, oh, I'm not going to sign anything ever again, so if you send it to any addresses that you have, I'm not going to sign it. I've had enough. And it's just really funny, the fact that he did that, and people are angry at him for it. But could you imagine, right? So I'm 36, and I can't imagine spending that entire time writing to people. I imagine writing to people every single day, or just got this backlog of just people you need to write to, or get back to, or sign, or something. Since the age of 10 years, that'd be annoying. But it's been more than 10 years. It's been 60 years. So you'd be like, do you know what? Just bugger off and leave me alone. And, yeah. Anyway, I've got this thing on my desk currently. I bought this thing ages ago. And it's basically a bunch of discs. And there's this company that used to sell these second-hand DVDs and CDs and this kind of stuff. And if they didn't have a sleeve on, they'd be like 50p each. So they also had this thing where if you spent like 15 quid, they'll just give you one of the boxes. It's just a bunch of random discs. And so I bought one of those, and I've got it on my desk. And I thought it might be quite fun to just maybe go into them and just see what's on here. I'm going to pick one randomly, and I'm going to say if I've seen it or if I've got an opinion on it and all that kind of stuff. So we have got here... Oh, look at that. It's a DVD of Lethal Weapon 3. Now, I've never seen Lethal Weapon 3, but I've obviously heard of it. I don't know anything about it. But yeah, didn't know I had that on DVD. Who knew? Who knew that The Man in the Room has Lethal Weapon 3 on DVD? Because I didn't. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to drink the rest of my cup of tea, and then I'll be back after this short break.
If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, please do not hesitate to send them to show@maninaroom.co.uk.
Just before I move away from talking about the Beatles, I just want to talk about one thing that recently happened to me. So I was waiting at a bus stop the other day, and it's just a bit awkward, you know. Everyone's sort of standing there, like waiting to put their masks on and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you know. And occasionally I'll try and make a conversation, because some people, you know, they want to have a chat, because, you know, you just get that vibe from some people. And this guy was wearing a Beatles t-shirt. Now, as I mentioned in the first half, I quite like the Beatles. So I thought, that's a perfect thing I can mention about this t-shirt. So I said, I like your shirt. And he then pointed at his ears and said, sorry, he's deaf. Now, I was like, okay. So I took the mask down a little bit, and it's all like, about the Beatles. So, you know, t-shirt. I thought this would be quite difficult, isn't it? So, I sort of gave up on it. But then, as I stood there, I thought to myself, well, hang on a second. Back up there, Sonny Jim. So, if you can't hear, how are you listening to the Beatles? I'm not being funny. This isn't like a bit. I was confused at the prospect of a deaf man liking the Beatles. I mean, I understand, like, maybe vibrations and all that kind of stuff, or maybe he's got some degree of hearing, or he maybe can't hear certain tones. But it's just like, huh. So that happened. And the other day also, this is a completely different time, but not connected. I have just remembered this. This guy walked in. He had a T-shirt on it, and on it said the word Moog, M-O-O-G. Now, I've always pronounced it Moog because it's got two O's, a G, so you go Oog, and then you got the M at the beginning, so you got Moog, you know. And also, from the Magic Roundabout, there's a character called the Moog, so Moog. You get used to certain ways of saying things. Anyway, I like your Moog T-shirt. I like this. You know, I like the Moog. And he was like, actually, it's pronounced Moog. I was like, all right, calm down. I was like, I don't know if you know what a Moog is. So basically, a Moog is a very early synthesizer that was used in the 60s predominantly. Famously used on the soundtrack to A Clockwork Orange, which was ahead of its time. The way it was done, it's, you know, so ahead of its time. It's actually crazy. And what's very strange about it is the fact that the technology that was used, it just sounded like itself, and nothing sounds like it now, and they try and emulate it. It's never quite the same. But picking up on the fact that I said Moog, mate, I'm trying to talk to you about an obscure synthesizer from the 70s. Let's talk about my pronunciation, yeah? I mean, some people. But there we go, you know. Just one of them things. Can't really think about it too much. If I did, I'd probably go cross-eyed. I don't really fancy doing that. Anyway, so it's now the part of the show where I realise that I actually haven't got much to say. So I've got to try and freeform something out of nothing. So let's just look around the room, improvising as we go. We'll look around my room. I see a lot of washing on my bed. Oh yeah, do you know what? I'm terrible about putting my washing away. It takes me 2 seconds to throw that away, to put the stuff away. I've actually got a little hack. This is a bit of a lazy hack. It's not really a hack, but it's a thing that I choose to do. So I really hate ironing. I think most people hate ironing. It's very clear. But my thing is that, right, so I never pair socks. It's a bit of laziness, I suppose, but at the same time, I don't believe in sock pairings, because when they produce socks, they're like, those two socks match, let's put them together. Those two socks match, let's put them together. Those two socks match, let's put them together. They don't have to match. They're socks. They're not produced together. they aren't like, they don't rely upon each other to be in existence. And you're really going to tell me that you're going to throw away a sock just because it's got a hole? You're going to throw away a pair of socks because one's got a hole in it? Explain that to me. But anyway, obviously underwear just gets thrown in a drawer. T-shirts, when washed, they get hung up without being ironed, because I just figure, well, I'll see what I've got that's clean, because I'm one of those people that has a floordrobe. Someone used that word to me the other day, and I've stolen it. Floordrobe. It's basically the act of throwing clothes on the floor, and I've got like a linen basket, and it's a bad design. I can't lie. I've got to get a new system for this. But for some reason, no matter what, I never ever put clothes in that, and I always put it around it. I don't know why that is. It's just something I do, and it drives me mad, But there we go. Can't be helped. Only myself to blame, really. But yeah. Anyway, continue with the improvisation. What else we got in the room? Lethal Weapon. Can't even add Lethal Weapon. It's one of those films that people are like, I can't believe you've never seen Lethal Weapon. And actually, I haven't seen a lot of films, really. I mean, I do like watching films, but at the same time, I'm not that fussed. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather watch a comedy, like half an hour comedy or whatever, or a 45-minute one, if you can find one. An hour one, oh, what a joy. Although comedy movies don't really work too much. Actually, I watched a film literally yesterday, and I will have to say it's probably one of the worst films I've ever seen, just from predictability and other stuff. And it brings me no joy to say this at all, but it's Netflix's The Old Guard, or The Old Guards. Thoroughly disappointing. Very predictable. It's like once you got the hang of what's going on, it's like, okay, this is going to happen. Is that character going to walk away from the situation, then come back to save the day and save the person's life who she basically just shunned? Oh, she did do that. Okay, cool. Just check in. And all that kind of stuff, And it was, it was predictable. It's almost as bad as Sister Act 2, which is probably the most predictable film I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's just one of them things, really, isn't it? Sister Act 2 is very predictable, and so was the last. So the Old Guards. It's just a little bit daft, really. The thing was also, this is actually the first time I've ever seen anything in 4K, because my friend's got like a 4K television. I was like, oh my god, this seems like really HD. Like, this looks ridiculously HD. I was like, wow. And it was too HD for my tiny eyes. I was like, this is too much information's going on. This is confusing me. I like a bit of blur. But there we are. Just me. Although I don't know if I've actually seen those videos. They're basically on YouTube. There's these videos get uploaded. So basically, there's these oldie films from like the 1900s, and it's just basically someone testing out a camera. And there's now these computer programs where they can upscale it and make it like 60 frames per second because the software's really smart at trying to work out what's going on and all this kind of stuff. I like watching them because that's fascinating. Just how the technology works, to be fair. But because someone tried to do it to a cartoon and it looked absolutely dreadful. But yeah. Anyway, I've waffled on now for long enough, and I'm sorry. I was actually surprised to see how long it's taken me to record this episode. So I'd actually date them when I record. When I record them, I put a date on them. I was like, I've not recorded an episode in like 9 days, and that's actually really bad because I thought it wasn't even a week. But alas, I'm wrong. So I will be back doing more of these. I just need to get this website sorted out because I'm just very lazy. So anyway, I will catch you all again soon, and all that. So yeah, until then, goodbye.
Who is the man? Where is the room? It's some guy you've never heard of, in a room you've never been in. For more information, head over to maninaroom.co.uk.